Hello, and welcome to Havoc Wargaming, dedicated to bringing you the uncommon. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Ron, and today we're going to do a box opening of 4Ground's 19th century American passenger train set, 28mm. So let's get started. One of the things I want to do today is talk about a review of this box I just got. This is really more of a box opening than a review. I haven't put it together yet, and it's going to take some time, I think. But I should mention that 4Ground is presently closing its business. It's an unfortunate situation. 4Ground's been a very instrumental and important part of the wargaming hobby for the last several years, doing mostly pre-painted wargame models, mostly terrain. They do some excellent buildings. They're a great source for carts and wagons and things like that. They do this beautiful train. And unfortunately, because of the price of doing business, MDF prices have gone to the ceiling. There's been issues with shipping charges with a number of companies. There's problems with the separation with Britain and EU, and all of these things have been things that have made the business more and more difficult, and they have decided to close their doors. So I'm about to do a review of a product that you're only going to be able to get for another couple of months unless somebody else starts producing it. So that's something to keep in mind, is if you're into this project, you'd want to jump on it pretty quick. And it is available right now at a reduced price because of the present situation. With that in mind, before I get to talking about this product specifically, I want to also talk about a few other time-limited items. A while ago, I was asked by one of my viewers if I might give some idea or share with them upcoming Kickstarters. And this is not going to be upcoming Kickstarters mostly. These are going to be Kickstarters that are almost done. In fact, the first one I want to talk about is Brigade Games. They do a French and Indian War and Rev War set of rules, and they do a beautiful line of figures in both of those, for both French and Indian War and for the Revolution. And this particular Kickstarter is primarily new figures for the Revolutionary Forces. But I'm going to suggest that you take a look at that. And if you do so, and if you're interested, you got to do it quick. These are Paul Hicks sculpts. They're just beautiful, beautiful figures. They're also including a reduced price on some of the already existing sculpts in both the French and Indian War line and in the Revolutionary War line. The reason I'm saying you got to be pretty quick, though, is by the time this airs, which should be Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, that campaign is only going to have a number of hours. As of the time I'm sitting here making it on Tuesday afternoon, it's got 34 hours left. You're probably not even going to see this video for another 24 hours, so a great deal of that time is going to be gone. So if you are interested in looking at that video, and I do recommend at least looking at it, I would suggest you jump on it really quick. I mean, Paul Hicks figures are just absolutely gorgeous. I've done a couple of these Kickstarters through Brigade Games. I've never been disappointed. The figures I'm using for the Napoleonic games we've been showing on here recently are figures by Hicks through Brigade Games. I also do have figures from both of these lines, not the new figures from the new Kickstarter, but I have from both the French Indian War line and the Revolutionary War line, which you will eventually be seeing here on this page. I just have only started painting them recently. So you'll eventually see those, and I think it's definitely worth looking at. In a similar fashion, another one for those of you who are interested in 7TV, they have 5 days left as of today for their Ricky Rhodes Kickstarter. This is a retro sci-fi expansion for their 7TV pulp game. It brings it into a sort of Flash Gordon sort of environment, and a number of different figures that fit along with that, and animal people and Ming. A beautiful retro ship, STL. I think it may be available in a printed form too, I'm not sure. That's got 5 more days, and if you're interested in that sort of thing and interested in 7TV, or for that matter, any of those other pulpy science fiction games, you may want to take a look at that Kickstarter. And the last one I want to talk about isn't actually started yet. I think it's going to start in May, and that's Sword and Warhorse are doing their next Kickstarter for Baron's War. This is Outramer, which is specifically to expand Baron's War out of that English-specific area to allow for more European forces, and also, of course, being called Outramer, the Crusades and Muslims. So this is a pretty substantial new expansion to Baron's War, and it will be a Kickstarter. I think he announced that would be starting in May. That one hasn't begun yet. Now let's get to what we're talking about today. And that is this package here. I just recently received this. This is 4Ground's 19th Century American Passenger Train set. It's available in 2 colors. This is red. It comes in red or black. There's also a freight set. Also, all of the stuff in this is available if you're interested individually. But I went ahead and got the whole thing. With this, I'm getting a baggage car, 2 passenger cars, just under 36 inches of straight track, and of course this locomotive. This locomotive, as you can see in the picture here, it's absolutely stunning. So let's take a look and see a little bit of what comes inside the box. This is the section of tracks. This is a pretty straightforward thing. Again, it's all pre-painted. So there's going to be 6 pieces of straights here, and you can see these are going to be really easy to assemble. It's just ties, as we call them in America, sleepers if you're in England. And then some, you can see just barely in here, pre-painted silver rails that are going to glue on top of those. I cannot tell if there's a way to actually fix them together or if they'll be sliding around when we go to use them, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Then everything else is like common. I'm not going to pull all of this out because I don't think you're going to get a whole lot out of it from seeing that anyway. But it's all packaged separately. This is one of the passenger cars. This looks like yes, another passenger car. All comes not only pre-painted with all the parts, and these are pretty complicated kits, but it also, each one comes with pre-printed directions already in it. Oh, that's neat. I didn't recognize that before. This is the locomotive, and it even comes with coal. I don't know if you can see that in there. It comes with a little bit of coal for the tender. There's some cables and wires here because there's handrails along the side of the locomotive. I'll pull some of this out just to give you an idea what the kind of parts look like. Just don't want to lose anything myself. There's some card stock or gray board. These are brass pieces, ornamental things, probably. Blackboard here. There's some more of the gray board for detail parts, and also for the boiler. That's how they're doing the boiler. All the rounded parts are this gray stock, and it's going to be glued over a framework and form to give that round shape. I don't know how that's going to work. I am going to at least do a review of this product when I assemble it. I might do a building video of it. I haven't decided yet. And I'm a little concerned on how well that card is going to bend and take its form over that project. But I'll share that information with you when we get there. So I think this is a really good deal. I can't remember exactly what I paid, but there's an awful lot in it and everything I'm going to need to get started. Here's part of what I referred to earlier. It comes with directions, but this is the locomotive alone, and it is 12 pages. This first page is just a list of where to find the parts. And this is a little annoying because what they have is a diagram of each of those MDF sheets. But as you can see, or maybe you can see, they're each watermarked with the words 4Ground underneath it. And that makes it actually really hard to make out what it looks like. So that could have been more useful had they not been so worried about getting their logo on there. These are a number of cut-out paper products to glue on and make some alterations and changes. There's various locomotive numbers, both for on the train itself. This is obviously for the front of the boiler. And I'm not sure where these are going to go, but it's probably by the cab, on the cab somewhere. There's also a number of choices of different railroad names to put on the tender. There's a number of different locomotive names that you can put directly below the cab, and there's also the firebox. So that's really interesting to me. You can get a look. I don't know if you can see that down the bottom where it shows just building that looks like it's the leading truck. That would be the front trucks. This is an American locomotive. What is it? 440? Yeah, 440. So it has 4 leading wheels, 4 drive wheels, and no trailing wheels. That's the typical American, or what's called an American locomotive. The most common locomotive style you're going to see for the American Civil War, or the primarily what we think of the Wild West period. So this is an excellent locomotive and train set for that entire period. And unlike some of these things, they're actually Western based. A number of these models I've seen that there are a little overly inspired by European when they're supposed to be American cowboy trains. But here's like page 3. This already looks to me like it's going to be the single. It's funny, I keep coming up with new models that I'm now calling the most complicated MDF models I've ever made. But this certainly looks like it's going to be high on that list. It's going to be more complicated than it looks like than any of the projects I've done from Black Site Studios, and even the other 4Ground test set, the I can't remember what it's called now, the Southeast Asia Trading Post, which was a pretty complicated model as well. I think this looks like it's going to be a pretty good project. I'm a little annoyed. I could probably fix it. There's a few things I may improve on. I mentioned there's handrails, and you can see those on the locomotive, but they're missing from the cars. There should be handrails on these stairs on the end. I might not worry about that. That may be done for gameplay reasons. I don't think I mentioned that, but these cars all have complete interiors. That's the passenger car, but the baggage car has like a sorting shelf for a post office car and things, and that's going to be really useful because I'm imagining, I bought this actually for a Tombstone campaign I'm looking at putting together, and for one of the situations on the revenge ride where one of the family members, one of the Earps, was being threatened with an ambush on board the train. But obviously it's going to be very useful for train robberies and things, and for train robberies and things like that, you're going to want that interior. So I may just end up leaving those rails off because I think they may get in the way of the figures. But I may replace some of the detail parts too, like the bell. An MDF is not good at doing curves, and the bell is just a pile of little discs of different reducing shapes glued on top of each other. I may end up just buying a 148 or O scale, or either O or S scale cast model of a bell to replace that with. But we'll see what happens and see what I think when I get that far. I might just modify it with green stuff or something. So we'll take a look. But all in all, it looks like it's going to be a very good model. I'm very pleased with what came in the set. There's other ways to go for it if you didn't want to buy the set. Like I said, everything that's in here is sold individually. I am thinking about getting more track because they're in metric, so it's a little under 36 inches. And I want at least 36 inches to get across a normal gunfighter's ball table. But beautiful looking set. Beautiful looking set. I would recommend it, particularly now, unfortunately, that 4Ground is being forced to offer it at a reduced price. If you have any questions, I hope you'll put those in the comment section down below. Also, if you have any ideas for further content you'd like to see us bring here on Cry Havoc Wargaming, we look for those in the comment section down below as well. If you've enjoyed the video, I hope that you'll hit like, and if you'd like to receive other videos like this one to help you better determine how to spend your money or time in your wargaming hobby, then please hit subscribe and ring our notification bell. Until next time, cheers.